goddesses, welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather and today you guys are saving one of my DNFs. So I can't remember who inspired this particular video. It might have been Books and Lala, but I'm sure this isn't like a new concept on BookTube. Basically, I am just going to tell you guys four of my, wait, do I have 4 or 5? I am just going to tell you guys about some books that I have DNF'd recently, and from that list you guys are going to be able to vote and pick which one I should pick back up again. And I'm going to do a vlog dedicated to reading this book and seeing if I can get through it, and if I like it, if I don't like it, basically just able to give my final thoughts and an actual star rating / review on this book. So without further ado, let's just go over all of the books I have listed. The first book I have for you guys to choose from as a recent DNF was Circle of Shadows by Evelyn Skye. Now, I got about 20% into this book, and basically Circle of Shadows is a very political fantasy story following these two characters, Zora and Damon, and they are both apprentices for this fighting group of people who are tasked at protecting this kingdom. And there is some crazy shit that went down, and there's like war and all this stuff and magic. And honestly, I really don't have much to say about this book because it really didn't grip me, and that was just the main problem with this. It just left me with something to be desired. I knew as I was reading this that this was going to be like a 3-star read, probably not any higher than that. Although 3-star books are fine and they're okay, and there are some 3-star books where I will recommend to people and I will continue with the series, but this particular one was just, I knew it was just going to be an average 3-star read that wasn't going to be anything special and was really just going to waste my time, so I DNF'd it for that reason. But I could always be wrong, because that is the beauty of, or the, I guess the downfall of DNFs, is you never know until you read the entire book, and I haven't read the entire book, so perhaps if you have and this is one of your favorites, you can vote for it and maybe I'll read it and I will love it too. But yes, that is the first option for you guys to save. The next option I have for you guys is Sea Witch by Sarah Henning. Now, I did not get very far into this. I can't exactly give any exact points because I don't remember when I stopped reading it. First, let me tell you guys what Sea Witch is about. Sea Witch is a retelling of Ursula from The Little Mermaid, so a retelling of the Sea Witch from Little Mermaid. It basically follows like 3 characters, I believe, and it starts off showing that one of the friends drowned, and now there's the main character that was her best friend, and she's trying to cope with that. And then there's also this like prince guy that she has like a thing for. My problem with this was just I didn't like the writing at all. Like, I remember at one point while reading this, she like described the prince as like this cake, or the prince described her as like this like delicate decorated fondue cake. I don't know. It was just really weird, and I didn't like any of the characters off the bat. I was already annoyed with them, and again, I didn't like the writing, so that's why I DNF'd it. But you guys know that pretty much all of my favorite books revolve around water somehow. The Little Mermaid is not only my favorite Disney movie, but it's one of my favorite fairy tales. So I do think this has potential. I just didn't give it enough of my time to see if that potential was there. But that is why you guys are here to decide if there is potential, if you guys have read this book, or if you guys are also intrigued and you just want me to suffer and see if it's good enough for you to read, you guys can vote for that one. The next book is one that I feel kind of bad about because it's an arc that I got, and I just feel really bad about DNFing it because, like, I don't know how the whole DNFing arcs works. If you have been an active reviewer and have DNF'd arcs, kind of let me know down below what your reasoning is and like how you go about it. I know a lot of people say that they do and they just write down their complaints and they just send it to the publishers. I don't know, I feel really bad for DNFing an arc, but regardless, it happened, and it happened with Romanov by Nadine Brands, I feel like her last name is. This is a retelling, I guess you could call it, of Anastasia Romanov, and if you guys know the drama between the Romanov family, there was this big uprising in Russia and the whole family was killed, but you never found Anastasia's body, so there's like a lot of pop culture things are surrounding her. But basically this book takes place with Anastasia and her little brother when all of the rest of the family are taken off by the Bolsheviks, and it's just her and her little brother, and basically she has this, like, I forget if it's like a map or some kind of information that she needs to get back to her family that is supposed to be detrimental to their fate. Something along those lines. The reason I DNF'd this is just the writing was so bad. Like, I am not one of those people who are like stingy with writings. I don't really notice bad writing unless it's really, really bad. And it bothered me reading it and I couldn't handle it. Also, the plot was just not really going where I wanted it to go. The characters were just, it just wasn't fleshed out well, and I just feel like this is just a really bad debut. It just fell flat for me, but again, I DNF'd it. So that's gonna be, I'm just gonna keep reiterating that. Like, I did DNF it, so there is a chance that it could have gotten better, that the story could have been worth me trudging through the writing, because if a book has bad writing but the plot and the characters and everything else is good, it doesn't really matter to me. So there is definitely still a possibility that this could have been good, but that is for you guys to decide if it was good enough for me to pick it back up. And there you go. So here's your other option. Now the next option is a very popular and quite polarizing book on BookTube, I would say, and that is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. Now obviously, I have my own copy of this, so this is a very unique case where I have kind of already decided that I was going to try to pick this up again, but when that happens is very questionable. If you guys don't know what The Night Circus is about, join the club. I got quite far into this. I think I got probably 50% done with this. If not 50%, probably like 40-ish% done with this. I was listening to it for quite a while. I listened to this on audiobook, by the way. Now, The Night Circus, from what I understand, and I am going to describe this by remembering other people's synopsises of this rather than me trying to remember what I read, because if we did that, I would have absolutely nothing to say. So The Night Circus apparently follows these two people, and there's kind of like this magical contest or something like that, and there's like this circus involved that just kind of appears out of nowhere, and that's all I got, folks. This book is very beautifully written, but it's just all lines, just all like poetic, metaphorical lines, and no plot or substance or characters. It's just all pretty writing, and I feel like I'm too dumb for this book, to be honest. I feel like this book is just way too intellectual for my dumbass to enjoy it. but I also listened to it on audio, so I feel like that could have influenced my enjoyment of this. And if I did read it physically, which I would, if you guys picked this, I would obviously read my copy of it. I feel like I could enjoy it more. And I also feel like I could enjoy the writing even better because I could underline and all that stuff and tab it. So, I don't know. I honestly don't know how this will go. I can't say that I'm excited for this to win if it does, but I'm willing to give this another shot because I do like circus books and I did like the atmosphere of this. It just was a struggle, and I assume it will continue to be a struggle if I pick this back up again. But, you know, again, very polarizing book. I feel like people either love this or hate it. I DNF'd it, so I don't have an opinion. But hopefully if this wins, I can formulate an opinion and I can decide which side I am a part of. Now, the last book I have for you guys to choose from is a book that I not only DNF'd once, but I DNF'd twice, ladies and gentlemen. Why am I including this in this list? Because I hate myself for not liking this book. So I want to basically force myself to read this until I can actually formulate my opinion and get through it. It will be a goal for me to eventually just get through this book because it has been a long time coming. And that is Furyborn by Claire Legrand. I love queens. I love assassins. This book follows an assassin and a queen. Why do I not like it? You tell me, ladies and gentlemen, because I quite frankly have no idea. Furyborn follows two people and they are 3,000 years apart. One is destined to be a sun queen, or sun queen, I think, and then one is destined to be a blood queen or something like that. Maybe not queen, but something to do with the sun and the blood and all that jazz. They're like prophesize, bunch of prophecies, stuff happens. I don't like dual perspectives that are years apart. Dual perspectives in general are just not my cup of tea, but they are becoming increasingly popular, so I have grown to just be used to it. But I especially don't like them when there's a huge gap in between them, and this book obviously has that with the 3,000 years thing. The first time I read this, I DNF'd it at like 20%. I listened to it all on audio, 20%. Then I tried to read it again for some reason. I'm pretty sure it was just Carly from Carly's Books just pestering me about it a lot. Also, Chandler from Chandler Ainsley really loves this book, and she doesn't read like a ton of fantasy, so I was like, she loves this book and Carly loves this book, why don't I love this book? So I picked it up again. I don't think I quite got to the 50% mark, but I got to the point, like I got approval from Carly to DNF it again, because in this book there are trials that one of the people go through, and she asked me, she was like, what point are you at? And I was like, oh, I'm like, while she's doing the trials, but I'm still bored. And she was like, oh, well, that's the point where it's supposed to get interesting. So, struggles. I don't know why I'm so mad that I'm not clicking with this book, but I am, and I don't know what to do with it. So, it's here. Here's an option. If you guys want me to read it for a third time's a charm, perhaps. There you go. Now that I went over all of the options, up above I will have a poll going where you can pick which book that you want me to pick up again. I will do a whole dedicated vlog to me reading this book in July. I don't know which one I hope to pick, because I've DNF'd all of these, so do I really want any of them? Probably not, but there you go. Let me know down below what's a book that you have recently DNF'd, or maybe your most regrettable DNF, a book that you DNF'd, picked back up again, and then loved. Maybe give me some hope for myself. Any of those related to DNFs, and let me leave you with this. Do you rate DNFs? That's a polarizing opinion right there. That's it for this video. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye!